So hands up who feels like they don't get enough rest and they feel guilty for resting and that they have to keep going to be able to fit in with everybody else that is nailing it in their careers. That was me for a long time. I got sucked into the fact that I thought in order to be successful, I had to be busy, I had to climb the career ladder, I had to be seen to be doing rather than being. And I just want to talk through a few of those different things today, just to identify where some of those problems lie, and then maybe what you can do about it as well. Today we are going to be talking about guilt around resting. And the reason I want to talk about this is because a lot of us feel like we need permission to rest and permission to take time out from our very busy schedules. And I just kind of want to say, like, here I am giving you the permission to rest and the permission to pause that you think that you need, but you actually don't. You see, the thing is, we've been brought up in a society that values success. And for many years, and still continuing to this day, a lot of people relate success to busyness. Now, you might not even be aware of it. A lot of this stuff might just be happening subconsciously. But the fact is that society has geared us up to be hyper productive, to be super successful, and to climb the career ladder and to go as high as physically possible in our work lives, in our home lives. You know, we've got that entire keeping up with the Joneses mentality to make sure that we are always bettering ourselves and we're always doing something rather than just being. That really does tie into the fact that we feel like we have to earn rest, and we feel like we can only take some time off if we've been really busy, or only take some time off once we've finished that project, because we feel like we need to have done something valuable enough to be able to take time away to rest. For years and years, we've been brought up by past generations and in society to think that you have to be doing something for it to feel useful, and to be useful within the society, that you need to be doing something useful. Did you ever kind of have your parents or grandparents saying, go on, go make yourself useful, go get something done? Like, it was always that work ethic. And I think whilst that work ethic isn't necessarily a bad thing, it's then been kind of pulled together with current society kind of wanting to improve and succeed and to be the best that you can be, tied in with that kind of leftover from kind of past generations of making sure you're making yourself useful and being useful and doing something. They've kind of combined together to make this kind of really bloody scary example that we all live our lives aligned to, that in order to be successful, we have to be busy, we have to be working hard, we have to be playing hard, we have to burn the candle at both ends, we have to be seen to be doing things in our work life, at home, in our physical activity that we do, that we're playing sports, that we have to excel. Like, there's all that pressure that has kind of built up over our entire lives and kind of culminates in what we do on a day-to-day basis now. So it's no surprise that a lot of people really struggle to take time to rest without feeling guilty. Another thing to question is, are you really busy in your work life because you don't want to address what is going on in your home life? Are you putting more time, effort and energy into an area that you know feels safe, that you know that you can do with your eyes closed, and that you know what to expect in that situation, rather than having to deal with other areas of your life that you might not feel like you are in control of, and that you might not feel like you are successful in, that you feel like you can just push forward in one area. And I'm just kind of here to say that that really doesn't work out that well. The reality of it is that if you don't learn to start taking some time away from work, you're heading towards burnout. In fact, you might already be burned out. You might still be burning. I did see a meme the other day and it said, hell, I'm not burnt out, I'm still burning. And it's recognizing when you are feeling or starting to feel burnt out, and what you can actually do to kind of pull yourself back from that. So Deloitte recently did a survey around burnout, and it found that, let me just check, that 87% of professionals really had a big passion for their job and loved what they did. Yet 64% of those people found that they were frequently stressed and frustrated with their job. A staggering 77% of professionals had experienced burnout, and 51% of those had said it had happened more than once. Burnout is not a good place to be, having been there many times before. So it's really thinking about what small actions you can start to take to really look after yourself and to make sure that it isn't all work. And I'm not not saying work is a bad thing at all, but it's really figuring out that actually by leaning into taking a bit more rest or recovery time, that you're actually going to be better at your job in the long term and have arguably more success. As somebody speaking from experience who did just focus so much on career and climbing up that career ladder and making sure I was busy all the time, and I felt guilt for resting, I didn't want to take holidays, that did not work out well for me, and I ignored signs for 2 years around panic attacks and feeling too stressed and doing too much, and then I fell off a cliff and had a breakdown. I didn't fall off an actual cliff, it's metaphorical, but still, it bloody hurt. And we've been led to believe by a lot of people that being busy means being successful. The thing is, there is a frantic race to have that perfect life, to have that sense of perfection, that you're doing everything right, how you should do. You are living the perfect life, you are living the dream, and you're pushing towards it. And sometimes you push towards it so much that you forget the other areas of your life, and you forget how important rest is in terms of actually being able to perform well, to be able to concentrate at work, to be able to come up with new ideas, to be able to get that next promotion. Like, it isn't all just about pushing through, it's about powering down as well. The thing is, we're obsessed with being busy. If somebody spoke to you and asked how your day was, you'd say good, busy, or it's busy, but it's good busy. Like, we're kind of preconditioned to think that busyness equals success and that it means that you're doing the right thing. And because of that viewpoint, that kind of approach, it means that then it's going to feel really hard to rest because you don't know how to do it. You're out of practice. You've not rested and done nothing and just relaxed in such a long time that it feels alien to you, that you're not sure what to do. And I think that is one of the issues, is that people don't really take any time to figure out what relaxing means to them, because for one person it might be sitting down in front of the TV and watching Netflix and binging a series, and that feels great for them, but that might not make you relax at all. So it's really tapping into what relaxing means for you and how you can approach that. So I wanted to share a few tips with you on how to start to embrace a little bit of rest in your day-to-day. So the first thing that I would probably do is reframe saying rest and instead say recovery. Talking about recovering from a tough day at work feels a lot easier to navigate than it does to say, I'm going to take a rest after a long day at work. So recovering is really resting, but it's just that mindset shift that might help, just to make you think about it in a different way. And if you're thinking about how you can recover from a busy day at the office, is it that you need to be away from screens? Is it that you need to be away from your phone and social media? Is it that you need to do something creative because you've been thinking analytically all day? So once you start to reframe that away from just feeling like you're resting and actually you're recovering, it might be that you find something that's actively meaning that you're doing something, but you are resting because you're taking time away from work and away from the everyday stresses that you are beholden to. The second thing that I would do is definitely schedule time into your diary to plan for that rest time or recovery time. If you don't put it in your diary, it's probably not going to happen. Something you go into the week with good intentions, which is amazing. You know, you've had a relaxing weekend, you've been able to put your feet up, and you say that, you know, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of the week. But if you don't take action and plan that in, it is not going to happen. Like, it's great that you've got the intention, but you really need to be taking the action. So how can you make sure you are taking some time in your day to recover from what is going on? And that recovery time might be the smallest thing, around having a 15-minute buffer in between a meeting. So rather than going from back to back to back to back to back, how can you make sure that you factor in a little 15-minute break in between those meetings? And 9 times out of 10, people will not mind if you ask to move a meeting or to schedule it so it's 45 minutes rather than the prescribed hour that we all feel like we have to do meetings in. I mean, I could go on a rant about that, but I won't do that right now. But it's just really thinking about how you can schedule that time into your week to recover. If you want to go big, plan a few hours on a Saturday to learn a new recipe or to watch some Netflix or to play a computer game, like just something that can help you switch off. It doesn't mean that you just have to lie on the sofa and have a nap, although that is also a lot of fun too. Afternoon naps are the best. The third tip that I've got for you is really changing your scenery. Since lockdown, a lot of us spend time working hybrid, and we'll work some days in the office, some days at home. Some it's completely remote and you're working in the office. Some days it's completely remote, so you're working from home. So you're effectively stuck within four walls. There's no commute for you to kind of switch off. There's no opportunities to chat by the water cooler and make a coffee with your colleagues. Like, you are in it 24/7, and it's easy for you to put in those 12-hour days without even batting an eyelid. So what I would really recommend is changing your scenery as much as you can. Now, it might be that changing your scenery is just going to work in a coffee shop for a couple of hours just so you can get some emails done. It might be changing your scenery is looking at getting outside for a walk for 15 minutes, to do a commute where you walk around the block, grab a coffee, and then come back to your desk. It's these little things that can just help plug in a little bit of relaxation and resting and recovering time, so that you're just not swept up in the everyday of the hustle and bustle of your life.
Up to me, stop dancing.